I cannot believe today MLB The Show is finally here. Not just for PS4 and 5, but also Xbox. So, for the first time ever, MLB The Show is not a Sony slash PS4 or 5 exclusive, but in reality, we are getting our very first Microsoft show. And I, for one hand, am ecstatic. I've made all the proper money moves. I've gotten into the pockets I don't even need to be in. I'm all over the place because I need this game. Okay. Now, I haven't known a baseball game since MLB or sorry, 2K, like 2K10 or something. I'm drawing a blank. I think Justin Verlander was on the basically what happened was MLB The Show, I think it was '06, came out on the PS2, and far and away it was like the best baseball game I ever played, right? And that one had David Ortiz on the cover. Well, fast forward a couple of years, and the PS2's life cycle's over, and beyond that, no one got a PS3. No one. Wait. No one got a PS3 because everyone got an Xbox 360. So '06, that would have been the 2005 season. Or maybe the show is like the one game where it's like the year is actually the year. So maybe it was for the '06 season, but within a year or two, everyone had an Xbox 360, right? Well, 2K baseball certainly was enjoyable at first, but if people think that sports games now, particularly like Madden and 2K, if they think they're the same game every year, excuse me, you guys should have seen what 2K was up to like 10 plus years ago. They legitimately would change the menu interface, right? Like they'd change the menu to look different. They'd add a new soundtrack, I guess. But MLB 2K was the exact same game every year, and they didn't even hide it. I mean, they tried to hold the same contest every year. They would always have that no hitting contest, which if you could, which back then to record your game, you should have seen the requirements for this contest. It'd be like you had to like hook up your camcorder, and you had to. I mean, it only seems like 10 years ago, like 2010, YouTube, no, this might as well have predated the internet. Like there was no, unless you had the technology and like you were a filmmaker, there was basically no way for you to do the no hit challenge or like actually receive the money. But that didn't stop me from every year that game came out to try and take Tim Lincecum against the pot. That's what it was. It was Tim Lincecum was the best pitcher. And the Padres were by far the worst hitting team. They were the worst lineup. If you could get around Adrian Gonzalez, then you had 8 outs. You had 8 outs waiting for you. So, yeah, that game grew old fast because they would do a roster update and that's it. There was zero added to graphics or gameplay or anything, physics. There was none of that. They just pushed out the same game every year. And eventually the sales of the game got so bad that they started packaging the 2K baseball games, I believe, with 2K basketball just to try and sell more of the product because they'd probably just made so many. But yeah, so MLB The Show is on Xbox for the very first time. And although the expectations are very low, I mean, as long as it's not 2K baseball, it'll be fine. But my one thing is I'm really nervous about there being obviously the next generation and the current generation consoles. There's gonna be a marketed difference, right? Like I should be able to go to my friend Jake's house and see that the PS5 show looks incredible, sounds incredible. I hadn't really thought about that, but my friend Tony tells me that NBA 2K on the next gen, the biggest thing is the chatter on the floor. Like it's like realistic and they're cursing and dropping N and F bombs. So like you expect something spectacular with the next gen. But I am a little nervous, admittedly. Like I just want to make sure that they don't completely screw over the Microsoft or the Xbox version, which obviously they wouldn't be going They wouldn't be going on Xbox. I think that one of the biggest sellers for the PS4 was the fact you still had a franchise like The Show that was exclusive to it. So now that The Show is going to be on both Xbox and PlayStation, I don't think that they would sully their reputation by putting out a subpar game on the Xbox. I just wonder about the quality of the game, even on the current gen. I worry about the quality of the Xbox game versus the PS4 game, just simply because they've never dealt with the Xbox before. But maybe it's a long time coming. Maybe they figured for a while now it's, not necessarily porting over the game, but maybe they realize that it's similar to developing for the PlayStation 4 or the Sony systems, and they were able to figure it out and make the game relatively the same. That's what I'm hoping for. But I do have this sneaking suspicion that maybe, 2 months from now, if I look on Metacritic, and obviously the PS5 version is like a 99, but if even like the Xbox Series 1 edition is like a 90 or like an 85, and then you talk about the current gen, if there's a difference between the PS4 and the Xbox One, that'll definitely be disappointing. But heck, I'm not even going to really realize any of those differences on my end until I start figuring out, or until we start figuring out more about the other versions of the game. I'm sure I'll be satisfied at first because I'll be playing The Show on the Xbox. I mean, that almost doesn't even seem right. I mean, all I've ever known as an Xbox player is just terrible baseball games. So, well, take that back. The Bigs 1 and 2 on the Xbox 360 were probably the best Xbox baseball games ever. So if you guys disagree, let me know. Let me know what you thought about 2K baseball back in the day, what you thought about the no-hit contest, what your favorite Xbox baseball game was prior to obviously The Show coming out. But yeah, the first time we've talked about a video game on this channel. Woo! And obviously it was sports related, so. But this feels like a momentous moment, you guys. This feels like a momentous moment in time and space. I mean, it just doesn't not very often come along. Do you get one of the greatest franchises and one of the greatest games ever made debuting on this new system? But that's what The Show did. The show knew what it was doing. The Show, they made it so that when they did finally release the game on a different system, you would just have to get it. Because see, any other year, I'd be like, dude, I don't really, like, I don't need this game. Like, I got too much going on. But I haven't played a baseball game in 10 years. Well, I've played The Show, but I haven't owned a baseball game in 10 years. So, super excited for today. I just can't wait. And I'm so sorry that a second one of you just joined. No, see, look at there, you're gone. Look at now I can end. I was gonna be like, whoa, someone else joined. Let me keep this good thing rolling. But no, you guys have a great rest of your day. I love you guys. We'll catch you on the next one. I'm actually working on my first really gonna put some research into it and do a little less like live research, if you will, and I'm going to put together a really interesting topic for you guys. I sort of spoiled it for my friends already, but it is. You're going to be privy to my debut NFL video. We're finally going to talk some football, finally going to talk some NFL. I'm sorry for those of you that have waited for me to touch on it, but yeah, it's been mostly basketball and baseball, but let's do it. Let's roll out our first football video. Maybe not tomorrow, but sometime this week we'll get around to it. But I'll see you guys tomorrow, all right? Peace.